Hey everybody, welcome back again to Ken Tamplin Vocal Academy, where the proof is in the singing. I'm continuing a really fun series where I'm taking these isolated vocal tracks. I'm doing a vocal tutorial, an analysis, and I'm also talking about the recording process as well. Next up, Geddy Lee from Rush. The song is called Tom Sawyer. If you guys would mind, please like and subscribe to my channel. That would be really cool. I also have a singing course. The course is called How to Sing Better Than Anyone Else. You can find it right here at kentamplinvocalacademy.com, where I also have a free singing forum over there with over 20,000 singers from all around the world talking about how to get great at singing, okay? I'm gonna dive right into Geddy Lee. Now, Geddy Lee, we just came off of doing Tony Lewis, the song called Your Love, the outfield. And we talked about countertenors, or people with really high voices. I didn't list Geddy, and I didn't list Steve Perry and some others. Geddy certainly could have been put in that camp, but I did do kind of a fun tutorial where I grabbed some kind of more unknown guys you could take a listen to. But I want to talk more about Geddy too, because he uses almost an entirely head voice sort of dynamic. Now, there are other people that are not naturally gifted with a countertenor high voice like Geddy. Let me give you an example of this. Rob Halford from Judas Priest, when he does songs like Painkiller or whatever, you find him going into a lot of reinforced falsetto head voice a lot. Geddy's is different. Geddy has kind of more of a chest mix head voice where he's using a lot of chest resonance in the sound of his head voice. Now, Ken, I thought you said that head voice is like, when you grow your falsetto to match the tonal qualities of your chest voice, you get through the passaggio mixed voice, and boom, you can go and translate it into head voice. I do mean that, except with smaller voices that are much more inclined to sound like contratenor or countertenors that fit more of an alto contralto, a female vocal sound. That means that they're able to kind of resonate more into the female registrations than guys that are baritones dragging the weight up, shedding the weight, getting through the passaggio, and then singing in head voice, right? So in other words, he's approaching it more like a female would approach their vocals, because his vocal folds are smaller, therefore has a much higher range, because the folds vibrate faster because they're shorter. I hope that makes sense. But anyway, so let's just kind of dive right into Geddy right now, and let's do this. Here we go.
A modern day warrior, mean stride. Today's Tom Sawyer, mean pride.
Now, if you notice, even a modern day, today's Tom Sawyer, mean pride, right? He's already played, like, that sounds low to him, and to a baritone like myself who hasn't warmed up yet today, I have to, today's Tom Sawyer, mean pride, right? I'm already kind of pushing my mid voice a little bit, right? If I'm not warmed up and trying to get in my really high upper register. So listen closely, because you can hear him as low as it sounds for him, it's higher for someone like me.
A modern day warrior, mean stride. Today's Tom Sawyer, mean pride.
Cool. And by the way, it kind of sounds like a little boy. Mean pride, right? He's got a really small sound. Here we go.
Though his mind is not for rent, don't put him down as arrogant. His reserve a quiet defense, writing out the day's events. No river.
Now, I want to point something out that you guys may or may not notice, as I just referenced this sound to be more like a female alto, contralto, low mezzo, soprano kind of sound. The very end of this phrase, when he kind of trails off, I want you to notice how it sounds kind of like mixed voice, like he's mixing the sound. Listen just to the very end trail of the sound. Right? You can hear how he has grown a very powerful head voice within a voice that's more like a female contralto alto, okay? And that's important because it makes it sound like he's pulling up all this chest with a really high range, and there is definitely some chest resonance into the sound, but it's not as chesty as you might think. I want to go back to this phrase. I want you to take a listen to it again.
Though his mind is not for rent.
Though his mind is not for rent, right? Mind. You can start to hear him go into more of a head voice.
Don't put him down as arrogant. His reserve a quiet defense.
Reserve is quiet defense. You hear him kind of go into a head voice there a little bit?
Writing out the day's events. No river.
I hope you guys can hear that, because then it helps us understand, oh, and he's not singing that hard. He's not singing that loud. So he's able to reside and get in and out of this chest, head, mixed voice resonance pretty easy because he's got a real small voice. So he doesn't have a lot of girth to manage in the sound, and he's able to control the sound very seamlessly. So let's check it out. Continue.
What do you say about his companies? What do you say about society?
What you say about his company is what you say about society. Right, I'm kind of overdoing it to be silly about it, but you can really hear the back and forth of the mixed voice of this. Check it out. Listen closely, gang. Listen.
What do you say about his companies? What do you say about society?
What you say about society? Right? He's definitely in a head voice sound. He's not pulling a bunch of chest voice way up into the sound. Now, he's an exception. We talked about these kind of voices that use very little vibrato. He actually does use a fair amount of very caprino, goat's wiggle vibrato. So it's a little unstable and it's a little pitchy at times. And we talked too about how these smaller sounding voices need to really have a real absolute pitch, because it's very unforgiving to have such a small sound. The minute you waver off the pitch a little bit, it's really noticeable compared to a big voice. It can kind of go sharp or flat a little bit. You don't notice it as much because there's so much harmonic frequency to the voice that it can get away with more in the pitch department. Okay, let's continue. Here we go. Ta-da.
The world is love and life are deep. Maybe as his skies are wide.
Okay, now if you notice, like I said, how gentle he's singing on the band. Now, let me kind of put the band in here for a second so you can hear how much energy the band brings to this to make it sound like he's singing heavier than he really is. Check it out. See, and so it makes you think that since the band is creating all this energy, that he's singing a lot harder than he really is. Check it out, even here.
Today's Tom Sawyer, he gets high on you. When the space he invades, he gets by on you.
Now, I do want to say on 2112 and songs like Temple of Syrinx and stuff like that, he's screaming at you, "We are the priests of the Temple of Syrinx!" He's just... Now, I'm bigger on the sound, so I have a bigger voice, so I have to manage smaller sounds, and his sound is small, so he's able to kind of belt at it a lot harder and go at it a little harder than someone like me, who has to really watch how much weight he's dragging up to the top. But I wanted to point that out, that he does do that. In this case, he's not, and on most of these songs, he's not singing heavy.
No, his mind is not for rent to any god or government. Always hopeful yet discontent. He knows change is unpermanent. But changes.
The changes. Right? You hear that? He's kind of going out of head voice, and on the end of the trail of changes, you hear the mixed voice start to trail into the sound. Let's continue. Here we go.
And what do you say about his companies? What do you say about society?
Now it's almost kind of Mickey. And what you say about his companies? What you say about society? What you say? Why you ha 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 ha? He's kind of raising his larynx in this. He's not going, what you say about his company? It's what you say. Listen closely how he's kind of bringing a lot of nasality with kind of a little bit of a raised laryngeal position. Check it out.
And what do you say about his companies? What do you say about society?
You can almost see him singing that. Can't you kind of like, what you say, everything's here in the front of the face. What you say about society? Right? Yeah. It's all really, really tight and in the front of the face.
The witness, catch the wit, catch the spirit, catch the spit.
Catch the spirit, catch the wit. Right? You hear that head voice? He's going into it pretty seamlessly. Here we go.
The world is love and life are deep. Maybe as his eyes are wide. Exit the warrior, today's Tom Sawyer. He gets high on you, and the energy you trade, he gets right on to the friction of the day.
Now, I want you to hear the word you in this, and you can hear him pull chest a little bit, and it sound a little strainy, like it's a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit of an effort for him to get to the word you. Check it out.
Exit the warrior, today's Tom Sawyer. He gets high on you, and the energy you trade, he gets right on to the friction of the
Right on you and it, right on you and it. Right, so you can hear he's kind of pulling a little bit, which is also an indicator that he is translating into head voice from those positions and not pulling a bunch of girth up into the sound, okay? Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and definitely check out my next video.
Maybe as his eyes